evening to you. Everyone in St. Kitts and Nevis, good evening to you. Good evening to you in the Leeward Islands. Good evening to the OECS. Good evening to the Caribbean. Hey, while we're at it, we might as well say good evening to the entire universe. Whether you're on, well, wherever you are, Mars, Jupiter, wherever. Well, I can't remember me science, primary school science by. Neptune and all them other planets, Saturn, Laturn, Newton, my turn, anybody turn, whatever the planet's name. Good evening, and good evening to my producer, Jamster. Jamster looked like he had a party, boy. It looked like I'm seeing some apple cider vinegar and cake and Jamster is telling me water. He doing like them people putting Guinness in a bottle. So you don't see what he's drinking. He's telling me it's water. I got to go with it. He's taking the water. That's okay. Good evening to him, but I guess he's just elated. I guess he's just excited. And that's putting it mildly. And the entire of St. Kitts, I believe it's St. Kitts and Nevis. But I don't think at this time the Division more than the Kittitians. The Kittitians, it's one big party, one celebration happening here in St. Kitts because it's a double whammy. When it's nice, you have to do it twice, so to speak. And for those of you wondering, well, why you look like Biff lose it, by what Biff talking about? Well, I didn't welcome you to the program, did I? But hey, that could wait until a little later. Jeremiah Louis, Michael Louis' older brother, has made the West Indies team. Finally. Finally, after what? 30, 40, 50 years or thereabout? Finally. It has been released today that Kemar Roach, he has broken down, he's injured. And Jeremiah Louis has been called in as his replacement. I expect the Windies, they're going to make that formal announcement. Hey, boy, Biff, you look stupid if they're in the case, you know. Ain't it, Jamster? If they're in the case, Biff will look really stupid, you know. But hey, no, man. I am not a betting man. I don't even bet 5 cents. I don't even bet a sweetie. I don't even bet a kiss. Well, of course, if it's a lady, a kiss if I win, a kiss if you lose. But I haven't seen anything on the West Indies site as yet. I haven't seen anything, but I've gotten it from extremely close, extremely firm grounds, that is the case. Kemar Roach, he is injured, and he is to be replaced by Jeremiah Louis. And so that means, Jamster, 2 brothers. Double whammy, that's what I meant by double whammy, Jamster. Michael Louis, after being announced 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks ago maybe, he made the West Indies team. Boom! The announcement will be made that Jeremiah Louis is replacing Kemar Roach. And Jeremiah Louis is already in England because he went up to play cricket, and that is going to serve him well because he should have some degree of acclimatization. That was extremely smart. I don't want to say it, boy, Jamster. I don't want to say God ain't like ugly, and I don't want to say God don't sleep. And I'm not going to say it, Jamster. I'm not going to say any of those two. Yeah. Persons argue both Jeremiah Louis should have been in there at the same time. Both of them should have been picked. But life got a way of working out, why, Jamster. Life got a way of working out. And I got it from extremely reliable sources. And the announcement, I think that ought to have been made as yet, if not now, tonight, later. And what a celebration when the formal thing comes. And everybody calling me Jamster. I don't know why me. So, Biff, what's going on? He going to get $10,000 just like what Michael Louis get? The government gonna give him the same thing like what they give Michael Louis? I said, well, I don't know in the government, but I believe so. It only makes sense. It's just last week the government announced, the Prime Minister announced, and we played the announcement, the recording here on the ball, that, hey, Bamstead didn't tell people we're listening to On the Ball either, and welcome nobody yet. Yeah, but I'll come back to that later. It's just last week, Tuesday, God's Spear, that we played the announcement on the ball that the Prime Minister said that Michael was invited to Cabinet, and the Cabinet has agreed to, one, give him a piece of land. I don't know if he said the size of the land and I missed it. I don't know. Two, they're going to name the street on which he grew up on after him. Three, they're going to name the southern stands in Warner Park. For those of you who may not know the blue stands, when you're facing the stands you're facing the C, that is, the stands on the left, that's the A stand, come across A, B, C, D. So all the stands, my understanding is they're going to be the Michael Louis stands. Now, Jeremiah gone go put the spokes in the wheel. Jeremiah go put the spokes, and it is a good spokes to put in the wheel, so to speak. So I don't know. I really don't know if they're going to be called the Michael and Jeremiah Louis stands, because you have these sort of stands in Trinidad. You have them, the Weeks, Walcott, the 3W, and, well, the road part, the road that they grew up on, would it be a joint thing? And I'll argue that the joint thing for the road, it won't really have the significance, the worth in my view, Jamster. That's just my humble view. He was the first, and he's the first, Jeremiah is the second. So they need to be two, in my humble view, two distinct means of identification. And of course, we can't forget the $10,000 as well. The Minister of Sports, he would have given Kyle $10,000. So he should be another $10,000 later, because he have to find, in my humble view, another $10,000 to give Kyle. So we got to to give Jerry. And really, why, Jamster, this is such good news that you make me weak and all, boy. It make me weak because, if I'm not mistaken, he had very good performances this year. He had 2 40s and 1 or 2 30s, and he had, was it 30 wickets? He was the leading pace bowler with wickets. He had the most wickets, and he was number 7 overall, I think, with wickets. And the 6 bowlers ahead of him, they were all spin bowlers. So he was the pacer with the most wickets. And in terms of the spin bowlers, some Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana, I think they were mixed. They're playing for various teams. And the thing about it is, who's that? Al Sebastian. I think that's the only thing wrong with both of them. They're not from SP with the best be Jamster. That's the only thing wrong with the two Louis brothers. They're not from SP where the best be. They're from Bastia. But I guess we can't have everything in Sandy Point. We got Josiah Claxton and that's a good question. Jamster is suggesting maybe name the Connery player after the Connery playfield after Louis. That's a very good question. I think the father is from Dominica, and he has been living here quite a few years now. The mother is from Newtown. You know, Newtown women got away of sweeping men off the feet, Jamster. And I did some research, and the 3 of them were born in St. Kitts, from what I gathered. So they were persons asking me that question. Were they born in St. Kitts? Are the Kittitians by descent or whatever descendancy? But it is tremendous, Jamster, and it is wonderful news. We say congratulations to Jeremiah Louis, the whole country was ranting and raving, and persons expected him to be in the A team. And I didn't take that as consolation. I really felt both of them should have been in there, but when I put my emotions and sentiments aside and I looked at the stats, it was challenging. It was challenging because the team that went to Australia, Kemar Roach was a part of that, and they came back and they had to be given because they've performed creditably well. And, you know, it's very unfortunate, Jamster. I'll perhaps have to speak to the president of the West Indies Cricket Board. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I need to get help first because I'm unable to go in now and pull up the stats from the West Indies Board, from the West Indies site, and the performances last year. I was able to get it 2-3 years back, but then all of a sudden, during the tournament, I couldn't get up to last year's stat because I wanted to do some comparisons. And then, now the tournament is done. A few weeks after, I could have gotten the stats, but I can't get them now. Something is wrong with that. Something is desperately, drastically wrong with that, Jamster. And for us to be the best, and we have to be among the best, and everything about us has to be the best. And talking about that, Jamster, well, I think you have recovered. And we do have a call, Jamster. Our first caller. Let us go to the line and say, good evening, caller. Welcome to Win FM 98.9. You're live on the ball.
I'm live?
Yes, you're live, sir.
Okay, Biff. Good evening, Jamster.
Good evening, Mr. Culture. How are you, sir?
I am great, man. I'm great. I like to hear what the government promised the cricketer. But it is left to be seen. Because we have great cricketers in St. Kitts too. And they have done well over the years. A lot of them, starting with the one who lived the closest to the park, Victor Eddy, Luther Kelly, and and what they get? Nothing but a Trinidadian only make a couple of runs, he get a piece of land. And one of them Australian, he make a couple sixes, and he gets citizenship. And a Calypsonian years ago, he get a piece of land for winning the crown. And the amount of stone upon the land that he could get the stone crusher competition. So it is left to be seen if those promises will be fulfilled. You remember the $500, what they said wasn't good enough for the people, and they're going to increase it to 15? Well, 15 can't count. You ain't reach it. Anyway, enough of that. Let me talk about another world champion from Monkey Hill. A boxer by the name of Livingstone Bramble. A little short man from Monkey Hill. Who people are Monkey Hill people can't do nothing because they put the back, they're up north, up in the mountain. Livingstone Bramble, he beat the WBA and the WBC, the world champion, Ray Mancini, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Bramble bang him and get the title from him, and he asked for a rematch. And Bramble gave him the rematch, and Bramble bang him again. That's twice.
Where and when did this happen, Culture?
In America.
About when?
Let me see. It happened in the 80s. Yeah, in the late 80s. It could be the early 90s, but I was watching the fight. And Bramble make Mancini hang up his gloves. That little poor boy from Monkey Hill. But he went to St. Croix early, and then he went up in the States, and he was in the hands of a great trainer named Lou Dover. But nothing much been said about Bramble. So we only just wait until a champion live here and they achieve the championship of the world. And they reach back and everybody could see them physically, and then everybody give them the big praise for a couple days, and that's it. They're done with it. So I'm saying this to say that it is high time that somebody out there who could help these youths in sports. Let me put bicycle aside, because that's my name. Help these youths who up and down the place doing negative with the time and the energy and teach them to get into boxing where they can take to fight and make it financially for their lifetime and open business that other people could be employed from their business. Rather than get the youth them up and down the beer doing nothing. And this once a year little bit of exhibition with them little boys for box, that ain't good enough. Train them, let them come something. And then more people will be inspired by the performance. Just like how a lot of youngsters inspired by Kim Collins and greats we have in the country. So I think somebody need to look into boxing. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Culture, and taking us back in history with the boxing bramble. A lot of persons may not know, may not remember. Culture was one of the top, if not the top cyclist we had here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And Vinci, I think Wincy.
Yeah.
That's what he was called, riding around with along with Keith Heiliger and a few others.
Lappy.
Lappy out of Newton Ground.
No, Lappy from Monkey Hill.
Monkey Hill, but wasn't there, apart from Gappy, was there another rider out of Newton Ground? I remember Gappy came in the later.
He had Gappy, Quincy, and Scotto, Waterman.
Okay, that's
but they were down in the B bracket.
But you were in the A at the top.
Me and Lappy, yeah.
All right.
When you hear people talking about bike, they would say Vinci and Lappy, Vinci and Lappy. And it had to be that way because both of us born September, but he's 3 years older than me. I born the 9th and he born the 10th.
Oh, that's interesting, right? 3 years apart, 9th and 10th.
Yeah, and he's my best friend.
But congratulations.
Best friend for years. And he's still friend.
And hey, these sportsmen today, why can't they see that? Vivian Richards and Botham, they were fierce rivals, and when Vivian Richards got married, Botham was the best man.
Okay.
And when they're playing cricket, Botham want to knock him down and he want to win him. But anyway, thanks for calling in, Culture. I have another call I'll have to go and take. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, you too. Right.
We're going to go to the line and we're going to say good evening to this next caller. Welcome. You're live and on the ball here to WINN FM 98.9.
Yeah, good evening to you, sir. How you doing, man?
I'm blessed, highly favored, and giving thanks. What about you?
Yeah, pretty good. This is my first time calling here. Did you say that there was another pick for West Indies from St. Kitts?
Yes, sir. Jeremiah Louis. Mikhail's
that's the brother of Mikhail, right?
Yes, Jeremiah is the pacer, the all-rounder, pacing all-rounder.
Yeah, fast bowler. Yeah. That was today.
Yes, that news broke this afternoon or thereabout. Well, that is when I heard of it. I don't know if it was broken earlier in the day. And
well, okay, let me go forward then. Let me put my congratulations out because sometime before I heard that there was at least 4 guys in St. Kitts that was playing good, and the guy Cardell, Jeremiah, Mikhail, and then there's a 4th person. I don't know if you can put that name out and maybe put their names all out collectively. So the people, I was asking for the people to start rallying behind them, you know what I mean? Because some persons don't even know who these fellas are up to now. And I heard you start bringing some family history there that was pretty good. Well, anyway, congratulations to him and Mikhail again. To me, what I want to see happen, right, is, you know, the other West Indian cricketers, especially from the Nevis side, right? You know, these guys have waited until they're retired, until they get the accolades. What I want to see happen now, I want to see a change, man. This is a new wave of cricketers now. And then St. Kitts is now getting their turn. So what I want to see these guys get the accolades now while they make the team. I don't see why we can't do that, man. You know, maybe Mikhail being the first cricketer from St. Kitts, the man need to get something bigger than just one stand named after him. Maybe the whole Warner Park needs to be changed and give Mikhail Louis that name. But whatever was bestowed onto him thus far, I think now his brother should get all the same because not because he's a younger brother, you know, the government should not make an issue. You know, he needs to his younger brother needs to get just the same as what the government is giving Mikhail right now. You know, if he's getting a stand in Warner Park, his brother needs to get a stand. But the only separation that I would give is because Mikhail is the first from St. Kitts. So, you know, the narrative is going to come from there. But I want his younger brother to get the same thing. But, you know, I'm rooting for him to get the whole of Warner Park named after him, Mikhail. And also, he needs to get that key to the city. I mean, what is the waiting on, man? That's a great accomplishment. And differently than that, maybe we need to get, like, a Cricket Hall of Fame for both islands, St. Kitts and Nevis. I don't know if it's going to be collectively or separately. But as a federation, somebody needs to look into getting a Cricket Hall of Fame because now it's just going to be too much cricketers to be mentioned, to be acknowledged, you know what I mean? And we need to get a formal event where Nevis cricketers can join in with these two youngsters from St. Kitts and welcome them into the fold, you know what I mean? We need to have a formal event. I don't know if we should get one in Nevis as well. But El Comida Willett needs to get some accolades. And his park that's named after him needs to be upgraded. You know, I heard recently that Vivian Richards got a banknote. He got his name on his picture or something, a banknote in Antigua. Somebody need to confirm that for me. Willett needs to get some more accolades.
Sorry, caller, could you repeat? You weren't clear just now what happened. What you said you heard about Vivian Richards?
I think I heard a news item that Vivian Richards got his pictures or something instilled on a banknote in Antigua.
Oh, yes, the $2 banknote.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to get that confirmed. You know, Willett needs to be getting some accolades like that, man. You know, Willett needs to, because he was the one that broke through, you know. He needs to get some accolades going. Just like what Vivian Richards is getting up in Antigua, El Comida Willett is deserving of the same. And we haven't seen that type of movement. And these guys are getting old, man. And in my village of Cotton Ground in Nevis, definitely, man, we need some movement in Cotton Ground Village in Nevis. Livingston Sargent need to be recognized there. And Derek Parry needs to be recognized there. We have the ball field. Maybe needs to be named after Derek Parry, only because he made the West Indies. I don't know who's going to get the ballpark, but one of those guys need to get their names on that ballpark in Cotton Ground, the ball field in Cotton Ground, so that when that park gets developed later on, it will still have that person's name attached. But Livingston Sargent, that's my uncle, of course, yeah, but he needs to be recognized in his own village at least, man, in his own hometown. I know they got a cricket academy named after him uptown, but he's from Cotton Ground, and he needs to be recognized in his own village. Both him and Derek Parry. You can't leave Derek Parry out the field. Derek Parry and Livingston Sargent both need to be recognized in Cotton Ground, man. Whether they're going to name the community center or give a street name after them and the ball field. That got to get done before these guys pass out of here. Yeah, man, Doc, pick up yourself, man. 12 test match and 4-1 international. Derek Parry before he went to Kerry Packer in South Africa. That was one of my mentors, man. Those two were my mentors when I was a little boy. But thanks a lot, man, and I'm listening. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good evening.
Good. Thanks a lot, caller. Where are you listening from?
From the Carolinas, man. North Carolina, to be exact.
Okay, that's wonderful. And
Jamster know who I am, man. He'll tell you. I got a cousin right in the studio with you, Trent. Trent, that's my first cousin, man. That's why I'm rooting for my uncle Livingston, who's his father. Livingston Sargent, man, he got to get recognized in Cotton Ground before this man passes away. I don't know what the government is doing on the Nevis side, but Derek Parry and Livingston Sargent must be recognized in Cotton Ground Village.
All right, caller. I appreciate that.
For that to happen, man, because Sargent is getting over the hill, man.
All right, caller, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. And thank you for listening. And tell your friends and family about Win FM and especially the On the Ball program every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m.
Yeah, man. You're bringing a different thing, man. Them youngsters now got to start playing cricket again, man. You know, in the basketball scouts coming to St. Kitts Nevis, and cricket has money in it. And these youngsters, man, they got to move and try to get in that positive light. You know what I mean? And,
okay.
I wish the other youngsters in St. Kitts the best, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, caller, for calling in and for listening, and we hope that you continue to listen. And Jamster, maybe it's time for me to get back down to earth with all the excitement and the energies, and welcome people to On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. It is another Tuesday, the last Tuesday in June, boy. Jamster, the month flying fast, boy. And music festival is this week, Tuesday the 25th. Happy birthday to all those persons celebrating birthdays today. Those who are celebrating anniversaries, happy birthday. Those who are going through a period of bereavement, we have our condolences. Be strong and find comfort in the many memories you would have shared with your deceased loved one, and that you'll cherish their memories. Those who will be celebrating birthdays between now and next week, Tuesday, happy birthday in advance. Those who will be celebrating anniversaries, happy anniversary in advance. And guess what? Those who celebrated anniversaries and birthdays between last week and today, happy belated anniversary, happy belated birthday to you. On the Ball, a 2-hour sports program brought to you every Tuesday night at WINNFM 98.9 with yours truly, Troy Biff Mills, your host. It's a pleasure and honor indeed for me to be hosting. And we encourage you, anyone as small as you think you may be, to come on board. We're encouraging any entity, whether it's self-employed, small, medium, large enterprises in the corporate community, to come on board and sponsor this program, because it cannot continue to happen without your sponsorship. And there are certain bills that will be accrued to ensure the program happens. So we encourage you to come on board. Call 466-9586. That's our marketing department, and they'll be able to work out a package of some sort to suit you, to have you be a partner. And you won't know the value and the cost until, and we'll have to open doors and drive customers to and through your business. And if you want, you can contact me, 668-2055. I am WhatsApp, and I'm on WhatsApp. That's my voice number as well. But the entire St. Kitts, the entire federation, elated with the news that Jeremiah Louis has been selected to the West Indies test team to be traveling to England, and he joins his brother. So Kyle was announced 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks, and now his brother Jeremiah just after that, just today. And I have with me in studios Mr. Eustace Maynard, the ever dependable, always willing to come and share his view. I call him the walking encyclopedia. Of course, we're not talking stats per se. I suspect, I think he looks like he still has his towel over there with him. And it looks like I'm seeing a bath pan, not just a bath pan, a pail. One of those old pails. What you call them, Jamster, the pails, the white pails that if they drop the spall, because of the loss of West Indies not making it through to the wine aim to wipe his tears. But I think him and all Kittitians, they're overwhelmed, and they've gone through the grief of West Indies not making the semi-final. Afghanistan basically just started to play cricket the other day, just became a full member the other day, Jamster, into the semi-finals. West Indies out it. But then we shouldn't feel too bad, because the mighty Australia, one of the most popular teams, they're out. And Afghanistan kicked them out. Afghanistan not only beat Australia, but they beat Bangladesh to keep out Australia. Because even the last match last night, was it last night? Yes, last night, Afghanistan had, Bangladesh had 3 bites at the cherry, your Jamster. Bangladesh couldn't make the semi-finals, yeah. Bangladesh were they to have beaten, and it's a funny thing. When they make 116, Afghanistan made 116. 27 without loss at the end of the power play, Jamster. 6 overs. You wondering what's going on, because man normally got 50, 60, them kind of things. 27 without loss. The good thing is that I haven't given them wickets. But then they have a problem. When wickets start going, they keep tumbling. They struggle to 116. I always say, runs on the board are runs on the board. I don't make mine. You go make them. And Afghanistan had about 2-3 bites at the cherry. Sorry, Bangladesh. If Bangladesh had won the match in 12.1 overs, it's a 20-over match. But if they had won the match in 12.1 overs, they would have had the same points like Australia, 4. but they would have had a better net run rate. If they didn't win it at 12.1, if they had win it in 12.3 or 12.4, 12.2 or 12.3 by hitting a 4 or something like that, they would have gone through. Or if they had hit a 6 at 12.4, they would have made the semifinals. That is Bangladesh. Afghanistan, it was a simple thing. Win, you're gone through. No decision, you're still gone through. Because Australia on 4 points, they would have ended on 5. And I could imagine the heartbreak for the Australians. So as bad as it is for us, the West Indies not going through, the Australians, it got to be worse because I think they were the number one favorites. Not even the defending champions, England, who struggled to get into the Super 8, but it looked like England is peaking at the right time. And if we end, well, England, they're going to play India in the first semi-finals. And if India look sharp, they might get solved. You know, old people, and I'm punning with words here. I have to welcome you, Eustace. I'm punning with words here, Jamster. You know, when you do something wrong, or something ain't working out your way, your old people say you're salt. Things ain't going how you plan or how you like, it ain't working out. But there's an opening bat from England named Salt. And if you hear how people take it out and West Indies when we lose to them, they say there was an assault. There was an assault on West Indies, and West Indies were assaulted. And West Indies get salt, and it was too much salt for West Indies. Forgive me, but I like those kind of things. I like those kind of things, Jamster. And we now go to Studio B and say good evening to Eustace. Welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. Eustace, how are you, sir? Have you gotten over your heartbreaks of West Indies not making the semifinals?
Well, Troy, I must say, in terms of 2020 cricket, that is not really the cricket that I love. My main thing is Test cricket, and I'm here to celebrate and to give my support to my two fellow Kittitians. I'm extremely delighted, proud, and one of the happiest men in the world right now. I must say good evening to you, and a special good evening to the listeners out there, all in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, throughout the Leewards and around the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. And we know that WINNFM can be heard as long as you logged on anywhere in the world. So we know that there are many people, many countries where people are tuned in to hear and to follow and to enjoy the good news which we have spread a few hours ago. And then you started the program, and this is what we are here to continue to spread the good news. So wherever you are around the world, maybe in England, it's getting down into the morning time, and I say a very special good morning. I'm sure she is tuned in, the former premier wife, Vance Amry, Mrs. Amry. Very special good morning to you, and we will talk soon. And hope that you are still doing well, still smiling. I know that you are in very good hands with your family there in England. And my many friends in England, in Canada, in the United States, those who are studying in Taiwan, everywhere, wherever you are, maybe at this present moment in your bus, in your truck, maybe at home on the balcony, relaxing, or in the kitchen cooking, or I will say if you're driving in your car, wherever you are, a very special good evening to you, and hope that you will stay tuned to follow the very important discussion which we have this evening, because today we got the good news. Because the injustice not selecting Jeremiah Lowy, the justice in selecting his brother, who not only was an outstanding player performer in the recent West Indies for the tournament, but he was the best batsman in the whole West Indies tournament. So he picked himself in the West Indies team. So nobody had to ask for him, maybe possibility for him to be selected. He was the best, scored the most runs, the most centuries, the most half centuries, dominated the tournament, more runs than the West Indies present captain. And I am extremely, extremely proud that the West Indies selectors answered the call, because I came here before I traveled with my cake and drinks, and we celebrated in advance because I was confident, with all the confidence in the world, that Michael Louis, with his outstanding performance, would have made the West Indies team. And yes, I am coming to that because we are here to celebrate now an injustice now, which is a justice, and we congratulate Jeremiah, the best fast bowler in the region. And as I said on the last program when I was here, that he would have done so well. He would have owned himself the selection. Nobody in the West Indies swing the ball like Jeremiah Louis. And when you look at it, in almost all of the games in the regional tournament, Jeremiah Louis knocked off all of the top order. The opening batsman, Jeremiah Louis, was in pinker form. And as I said, at the end of the tournament, ended up to be the best fast bowler. And the good thing about it is that they are going to England, where the condition in England is suited for his style of bowling. Because nobody in the West Indies swing the ball like Jeremiah Louis. So we are happy. We are very proud as Kittitians. And for me as a commentator, somebody who loves this game, who wants the best for this game and for West Indies cricket, and by extension, these two outstanding players who would have done the Leewards, the Federation, the Sinkits, yes, and Nevis, and their families. And I must say a very special good evening to his mom and dad. Great, great supporters, and who would have managed these two quality and outstanding performers, and the job that they would have done. Now we are in a position to reap the reward, because we have seen, witnessed, and enjoy the tremendous performances by these two outstanding brothers and citizens, and have done this country proud. So I'm happy to be here, and I look forward for an excellent program tonight.
Good evening. Well, forgive me. Thank you, Eustace. We appreciate that. I believe only one person could probably rob me for being passionate, or maybe being almost nearly passionate, more passionate than I am, and that is Eustace. And I'm extremely passionate when it comes to cricket. But Eustace, we have our first caller on the line, and well, guest, not a caller. And I must say, he's one of three guests we are going to have on the line. I do apologize. We were to have the two promoted teams, Security Forces United and Jones Group Sandy Point FC, and we had to ask them to reschedule because of this breaking news, tremendous breaking news. So we have a guest. We're going to get to him. We're expecting Mr. Hugo in a few minutes, and about 8:15, we're expecting Mr. Samuel Spencer, the chair of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board's selection committee. We expect him to be on the show with us, both of them via call. They're off island. But right now, our special guest from St. Kitts and living in Antigua, working for the West Indies Board is Mr. Junie Mitchum. Good evening, Mr. Mitchum. Welcome to On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. Junie, could you hold a second? I'm hearing you a little on the softer side. I am checking my phone and my connection, and just to make sure that the callers could hear you. And how you hearing us? You're hearing Junie? Yes.
Hi, Troy. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing
you loud and clear now. Go ahead. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Hi, thanks. Hi, thanks, Troy. Thanks again, and good night to you and your listening audience.
And could you tell us a little about yourself? What your work? You're living in Antigua. What's your job now, so to speak?
As you rightly say, yes, I've been living in Antigua for 6 years now, working at Cricket West Indies in the cricket department, overseeing youth development, specifically age group tournaments under 19, under 15, under 17, coaching development also, and coordinate the logistics for the men's academy.
Okay, heavy stuff. And briefly, for those persons who may not know you, before you got there, you would have played some cricket, represented the West Indies on the 19 in England in 1993, I think it was. Played for the national team, played for the Leewards. And you did some coaching as well, did you? While you're here in St. Kitts?
Yeah. Yes, I did my level 3 coaching course in England at Loughborough University 2005.
In terms of the coaching, what was the name of your coaching academy and what period was it run?
When I came back, I was working in the Ministry of Sports. I worked in the Ministry of Sports for quite a number of years. But when I came back from doing my level 3, I was actually playing the cricket in England at the time, but I used the opportunity while I was there to undertake my level 3 coaching course. Yeah, and when I came back, I also was doing some coaching with Keith Otterton, because he had his cricket school, which he still runs. And, he encouraged me, to do likewise. So, I started my cricket school, which was named the Junie Mitchum Cricket School of Excellence. The sessions used to be held at Kayon Cricket Ground.
And from a little research, I understand that 2 particular individuals, of course there were many, but 2 particular individuals surface in the news. You may have had a hand in shaping them, being involved in their youthful days. Could you comment on that, please?
Who are those 2 individuals? Sorry.
The 2 Louis brothers.
The 2 Louis. As you said that, let me take this opportunity to congratulate both of them, Jeremiah and Michael, for making the West Indies senior team for the tour to England. I think that is a very remarkable achievement, not only for them, but for St. Kitts to have 2 brothers being selected at the same time to represent West Indies. As I would have told Steve Labor this afternoon, the floodgates has now been opened. It's really, heartwarming. I know Jeremiah, has been performing creditably well for the past number of years, and for him to get this break, it's really a great achievement. As well as, his brother having his first season at this level and performing so creditably well speaks volume. So I want to commend both of them. Also, the parents. I think the parents played a very instrumental role in their upbringing, and also, guiding them through the love for cricket. But yes, with respect to your earlier question, yeah, they attended my cricket school when it first opened. So they used to attend all four brothers. If you know, they were all four brothers of them. But I think only three really, we went on to play national level cricket.
Okay, and could you remember what year this was and how long did they, especially Kyle and Jerry, how long they stayed with you?
The cricket school was open in 2010. But initially they attended Keith Otterton Cricket School, and then they moved to my cricket school when it was open. And so they attended the school. You see, what happened after I became the territorial development officer for the Leeward Islands Cricket Board, I had to close it, which was a very hard thing to do because I had to oversee the development of the grassroots cricket throughout the region. So while I was running my cricket school, I had to oversee those development, which to me seemed like a sort of conflict of interest. So it was a hard, decision, but I did so on my own to close it after about 3 years.
And you did mention that the Louis brothers, Kyle and the Jeremiah, would have started with Keith Atherton, but they would have come across to you. So you would have had, both yourself and Keith Atherton would have had a hand in shaping their future and the destiny, and I dare say partly responsible for them making the West Indies team.
Well, between me and you, I really don't want to take any credit for the achievement. No, yes, I would, would have imparted some level of knowledge to them and, their development, which quite a number of other coaches will have done. So, but yeah, they attended the school, and I must say, though, the parents, played a very big role. They were very supportive of me and opening the school, and they were always there, and whatever assistance they could have given, they did so.
Now, you mentioned something, open the floodgates. Let's put things into perspective from a St. Kitts and cricket point of view. Jazara Claxton, last year, she made the West Indies on the 19 team.
Yes.
This year, a few weeks ago, earlier in the year, LaShawn Bergen of St. Kitts, he would have been
very talented player.
Yes, indeed. He was the vice captain of the Leeward Islands cricket team, and he came out of the West Indies on the 15 tournament with the second most runs. He was only one of two players to score over 200 runs, and he came out with he was in the top, maybe the top two in wickets, I can't remember. He had about 6 wickets. And it's unfortunate that there wasn't, in my humble view, a West Indies on the 15 team to play even a 3-match series, whether with the USA, Canada, some neighboring country. Give these youngsters some encouragement to go on to continue playing cricket. I know he's in the West Indies on the 17 team right now. On Friday last, there's a group out of Sandy Point called the Sandy Point Benevolent Society. I'm in a chat with them, and when the tournament was going on, I was briefing them what was happening, because LaShawn, his father is from Sandy Point, his fraternal mother and father from Sandy Point. He is living in St. Paul's with his mother, and he's under the tutelage, so to speak, of James Ward. James Ward is coaching; he's his cricket coach, and I must commend James Ward on doing a tremendous job. So when I keep mentioning this to the Sandy Pointers living at home and abroad, they say, hey, Biff, get his sizes. We're going to give him a set of gears. Find out what he wants. So I did that. And on Friday last, there was the handing over ceremony. And that took place at the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, where he's attending in Fort Farm. And he's captain of the team that is competing in the Department of Sports High School Championship. And in the first game, he took a fifer. I can't remember. But we had the ceremony, and I did say Kyle is opening the door for other cricketers to follow. Jazara from the female and Kyle from the male. And now that Kyle is there, the floodgates are going to be open. And really, I was thinking, not so soon. I didn't realize it's going to be so soon. This was Friday gone. And now, Jeremiah. And I expect LaShawn in the next few years. Perhaps there will be others between then and now and then. But you mentioned that floodgates, and that is actually what we're going to be seeing. More, in my humble view, more Kittians getting onto the West Indies team.
Yes, definitely. Well, I actually saw on Facebook the handing over ceremony. I think Mr. Wilshire, I think, was a part of it. I must commend you and the others who, played a role in that. But yeah, LaShawn Bergen, he came here early in the year for the under-15 tournament, and I'm telling you, he's a very talented player. He has quite a level head on him. There were situations where, especially in the first game against, I think was Trinidad or Jamaica.
Jamaica, I think that's the game that was rained out.
He made 60-something. Yes, the very first game. And, the way he, he went about building his innings and guiding the other batters around him, it speaks volume to his level of maturity at that level. And so I expect him, once he continue playing the game and staying focused, especially with someone like Ward, who has been doing a very, great job. Since I've been back in St. Kitts, overseeing the kiddie cricket and grassroots program, Mr. Ward, being involved with it. And so I want to commend him also. But yeah, that youngster, LaShawn, a very talented player. I expect him to really progress further. Like I said, once he remain focused and continue doing the simple and the basic stuff that he's been doing leading up to this period. As well as Jazara. Jazara, I must say, also Jazara came through the kiddie cricket program. When we used to have the kiddie cricket program in the schools. I'll tell you a little story. I could remember one time we had the festival in the park, and the bus that transported them back home, I wasn't aware where she was living, but the instruction was to take all the kids directly to their home, and apparently the bus dropped off to the foot of the alley where she lives. And she would have called me. She would have called me roughly after 11. And as you know, her mother, she's very, she's very open. So she was like, Mr. Mitch, if this is what you want my daughter to be doing, imagine you have her walking up a dark road and she lives far from the end. I was like, I was surprised because the instruction was to take all the players to their home.
Uh-huh.
But I had to assure her that, that wasn't the case, and really, calm her fears and everything, but her mother, again, just like Jeremiah and Kyle, very instrumental in her development, and her guidance, So I was very pleased when, Steve said to me, listen, Jazara is a part of the under-19 setup. And when he gave me a little feedback on how she been performing in the camp and the other stuff, I said, well, boy, it's only her now to decide, her destiny. Yeah, and based on, feedback, she's very, dedicated. She works hard, she good work ethics, discipline. So I expect, once she continue again, not too long from now, she perhaps be in the senior team.
Indeed, and from my understanding, there was a camp. Leeward Islands had a camp in Nevis, and they actually selected the squad today, the female squad, to participate in the West Indies Under-19 Championship for the females.
Well.
So no doubt she is there. Any final things to say, Junie?
Well, I just want to, again, congratulate both Jerry and Mikhail on their selection to the West Indies team, and congratulate the parents who've been doing a very, good job with them and supporting them through everything they did. But also to say, this is a great achievement for Sinkets. Many persons will have came before them who will have done, tremendous work in terms of, taking a claim for selection on West Indies team, but just never got to. And, for them now to get that break, and open the door for others to come, it speaks volume. I was even telling Steve last week, the government need to have additional holiday, the Mickey Louis holiday. that was before everybody just got selected. Yeah. But honestly, I don't know if persons realize, what we just achieved for years. We never had a West Indies player, and for him to come and make that breakthrough, it speaks, it's a great achievement for Sinkets. Sinkets now will be seen on the world map that, Sinkets achieved its first West Indies player. Oh, two brothers, sorry, and that would be a big headline. It's a big headline. I don't think you could still think it's greater than that. So I want to wish them all the best. I hope that they could continue the development and progress further. It's easy to get in, but it's even harder to stay in.
Indeed.
So now that now they got in, they got the foot inside. They got to work twice as hard to stay inside here, because there's hundreds of persons who want to get inside there. So they just have to continue doing what it is they've been doing that got them there.
Indeed. Junie, congratulations on the work you are doing in Antigua, producing these programs for our youth cricketers. And thank you for taking time out to be with us on the ball here at WINNMedia Family. It's your first time, and congratulations on the work you would have done with the Louis brothers. You mentioned 4 of them. I didn't know there were 4. I always, from my umpiring of late, knew Kyle, knew Jerry, and Jerrickson, I think he's called, the younger one. But you mentioned the 4th one didn't stay too long. And I'm not certain how many persons know there were 4 Louis brothers in cricket in the early days. But congratulations on the work. And again, congratulations to the 2 Louis brothers. And who knows, maybe the government might take your suggestion and give a public half holiday use to us for the 2 brothers making it.
Yeah, but as Steve was saying today, they need to perhaps some charters put on where, we could just flood England.
That's a good idea. Very, very good idea. I know one person has already booked his ticket, Mr. Carlton Dupont. I think he has already booked his ticket for all 3 matches for him and his wife going to England. So thanks a lot again.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. No problem. Thanks for having me. Says.
You were listening to a conversation live and directly with Mr. Junie Mitchum, Development Officer for the West Indies. He's from St. Kitts, and he's living in Antigua working for Cricket West Indies. He has been for the last few years. We're now going to have another guest in a few minutes, this Mr. Hugo, and shortly behind him we have Mr. Samuel Spencer. But Eustace, did you know there were 4 Louis brothers playing cricket a few years back when they started?
Well, I said to his father that all of the 3 of them would be in the Sinkets team at the same time, and that came to a reality. Yes. And I am looking forward for the continued progress by the other brother. They're excellent cricketers, excellent. And as you know, and would have heard and followed, that they have just about the best parents anywhere in the world, and where anyone would like to have in terms of example, true example as a parent. and they would have done an excellent job, and the guys are benefiting from their tremendous management and leadership, and we are reaping the fruits and benefit from their excellent leadership, and we commend them, thank them for the excellent job, and the progress will continue. The celebration will continue, because on July 10th, when we have Michael walking out to face first ball, I am telling you, I hope that Brathwaite will give him the opportunity and July 10th to face the first delivery in England, and he slapped that one, I'm telling you, tremendously, extravagantly into the extra cover boundary for 4.
But don't you think Eustace, I like what you're saying, Brathwaite giving him the opportunity to face the first ball, but don't you think perhaps it might be the better move for Brathwaite to take the first ball, because here's this youngster making his test debut. Maybe there will be butterflies, but maybe the butterflies may not be so active if he were to look at it from the non-strikers and the first ball. He may have to face the second ball if they were to be a single. But don't you think that might sort of ease the pressure off of him if Brathwaite takes the first ball?
No. This guy is a very confident, and the form that he displayed in the 4-day tournament, he is in excellent form, very, very positive and confident, and has done a lot of work here. There's a lot of things also that I would like to say, but I will leave certain things for another time. But he himself and his father and some others would have put in some serious work in the net, where he batted for hours and hours and hours, because he is serious about achievement and his continuous development, and it's only a matter of giving him the opportunity, as I said, also for him, because he should have been in the West Indies team at least 4 years ago.
Eustace, I'll have to ask you to hold 1 sec, as we have Mr. Hugo from Antigua, a panelist for the program tonight. Good evening, Mr. Gore. Welcome to On the Ball. You're live on WINN FM 98.9.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
And how are you doing, sir? How is Antigua?
Not too bad. I'm quite well, overjoyed with some news I got today, so pretty overjoyed.
The news, did it come as a shock to you, per se?
Well, as you know, I've always said when I was on your program before that Jeremiah, Jerry's always deserved to have a chance to play, having performed so well, but I was out today.
Sorry, we had some issues there. Hold 1 second while we get to... We're trying to connect again with Mr. Gore. We apologize for that breaking transmission we had there. And okay. Yes, we. Sounds like we have him, Damster. We do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, and we have. Okay, we'll have to try and get Mr. Gore a little later. Let's go to Samuel Spencer now. With that ringing. We have lost Mr. Go. We're going to get back to him in a few. However, we now have another of our panelists on the line, Mr. Samuel Spencer, Chairman of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board's Selection Committee. Good evening, Mr. Spencer. How are you, sir?
Good evening and good evening to your listeners. I'm fairly okay, thank God.
Are you like us here in the St. Kitts and Nevis? Everybody is partying, not at the West Indies not making the semi-finals, but the news that Kyle's older brother, Jeremiah or Jerry, he has been selected to the West Indies team.
Of course, when I heard, when I got the information today, I had to call you to let you know that. I had to break the news to you in St. Kitts, because I'm very elated to know that our Leeward Island players are making a mark in the West Indies cricket.
Indeed, and I must say that you were the first person to have alerted me, and I didn't want to let the cat out the bag of my source, but I did say earlier I haven't seen anything on the West Indies website, but I got it from most reliable sources, and I was referring to you, knowing that once I got it from you, it was safe, secure, and so on.
Most certainly, and you know how elated I am. I told you earlier on that Michael Louis would make the West Indies team, and that, of course, his older brother Jerry, there was a possibility of him making the team, but at least making the A team. And indeed, making the West Indies senior team is some justification for his performances over the years. This young man is a brilliant performer in Leeward's cricket. He's a dedicated player and he has done well over the years for us. A fine gentleman. I must say, both brothers, I've been associated with them for a little while now, and I can tell you they're some of the finest young men that you could ever find, indeed. And they're justly rewarded for whom they are and for their cricket.
Indeed, and permit me to just intrude on you, please, Sam, a second, because I have received some news that the ICC, International Cricket Council, they are expressing sadness on the passing of Frank Duckworth, who was part of the peer who came up with the Duckworth-Lewis system, which has been used in limited over cricket for the past few decades. My personal view is I think it's too complicated. I think we should stick to the regular average thing. I am in a minority, but I really believe so. And up to last night, it was in place. And even with the West Indies, it was in place because it was rain affected. And the game last night where Bangladesh has to score initially 116, an over was lost and it came down to 114. So we say condolences on behalf of Win FM 98.9, its board directors, the On The Ball program, my producer, myself, the cricketing fraternity here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Condolences to the family of the late Frank Duckworth on his passing. He passed at 84. He was a consultant statistician with the ICC until 2014, and he passed on Friday. So his system will live on long after him. He was given the MBE in 2010. So condolences again. Now back to you, Sam. Yes, yeah, you did mention, and everybody felt, and I think everybody had resigned to the fact that he would have made the A team. I think that was basically a given. And I remember telling some persons, I don't know if, yes, you did tell me that. And I felt that, boy, there may be a chance he might sneak through the back door in England, because I felt if there was a breakdown since Jerry, he was up there and he's up there now. And if he's performing and stepping in shape, he would have, if there's a breakdown, he might have been the one called. And lo and behold, it happened even before the team got to England.
Most certainly. And remember, I said that I would not have selected Holder or Roach for this series because, we moved into a different direction. We need to ensure that we reward the young players who are performing for West Indies in regional tournaments. And of course, you can remember there was some instance where Jerry had something like 40 wickets in a season, and he was not placed in the West Indies senior team. I think he was placed in the A team.
Indeed.
Now he had some 29 wickets, but I can tell you this, as I want to reiterate, the fact that with the new ball, he's one of the finest bowler in the West Indies. He is always capable of removing the top order of any team, and his figures always show that. It's always quite economical, and it is good for St. Kitts and Nevis, or for St. Kitts in particular, because they have waited so long to get a test player in the West Indies team. We all know that Victor Eddy should have been there many years ago, but it is really a pleasure for me as chairman of selectors with Leewards to know that we're now having two players from St. Kitts. And the nice thing about this, two brothers, two individuals who deserve their place in the West Indies team. And I do want to wish them all the best. I'm sure that they're going to make us in the Leeward Islands very proud. They're going to fly the flag of St. Kitts, and they're going to, of course, make Leeward Islands people stand up and take notice. And the world will take notice of Leeward Island players, because we're coming in force. We have Casey Carty, we have Rockin' Cornwall, we have Powell, we had many others. We now are moving with two other players, in short order. And I'm sure that Joel Andrews will be the next player that will walk into that West Indies team.
The thing about it, Sam, from my little research, these may very well be the first pair of brothers to have made the West Indies test team at the same time. I know the next step is for them to play. And I'm aware that there's a Charlie and Brian Davis, two brothers. I think one was an opening bat, one was a number 3 or number 4.
Brian Davis was
from Trinidad and Tobago. They would have played for Trinidad and Tobago, but I don't think they would have made the team at the same time. Of course, for New Zealand, we have the Crow brothers. For Australia, we have the Chappells, and there were 3 Chappell brothers who played. I think, Ian was the first, but I don't think they made it again at the same time. So this is extremely big news. It's doubly historic, so to speak.
Yes, the Chappell brothers did play, and they were also
Sorry, repeat those names again for us.
Played for Australia.
Sorry, repeat them,
you had Trevor Chappell, you had Ian Chappell, and you had Greg Chappell. There were 3 that played for Australia. I can remember the famous situation when Chappell instructed his brother to bowl on the arm to allow the team not to win a particular game against them.
I have an uncle.
Those are some of the
Neville Weeks. Some of them call him Manny Weeks. He's
cricket.
living in New York now. In speaking to him today, he reminded me of that Greg Chappell, I think, was the captain. He instructed his younger brother Trevor to bowl on the arm so the team won't hit it for 4, so Australia would win. And Neville did go on to tell me that he played against Trevor Chappell when the young Australians were touring the West Indies. So that's interesting.
Indeed. And you know what is very important here? You must remember also, not only the War brothers also played for Australia. Mark War and Steve War.
And I know you have a tight schedule tonight, and you're involved in some cricket that's unfolding in Antigua. Do you mind telling us about it, please?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that we are playing the best of the best in Leewards cricket this week. Yes, some of the players are from the franchise are unavailable because they're doing stints in other countries. But we have decided to go ahead and have the best of the best that are available, exposing some of the young talent. And this is very good for them. First game is going to start on Thursday. That will be a 3-day game. And the first day on Sunday. And we will have another game starting on Monday. After that, it is likely that we will play against the Windward Island Volcanoes. So after playing those 2 matches with the best of the best, we will select a Leeward Islands team that will play against the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And so that will be very interesting. We are endeavoring to expose our players to a higher level of cricket. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have the 3-day Leeward Island tournament, but we are at least ensuring that we get some form of competitive cricket, and God's will next year that we will be able to have a full Leeward Islands tournament. And, that is something good. We cannot continue to allow for our players not to expose themselves to West Indies cricket. Look at what's happening now. The Louis brothers, I am so delighted. I'm so happy to know that this is happening. And we must, of course, give credit to their parents for guiding them along the way. And St. Kitts Nevis for ensuring that these gentlemen are able to play some level of cricket.
And from St. Kitts, we actually have 3 players up there from what I'm understanding, Mr. Cameron Spencer, Larry Oden, and Jaleel Clark. They are part of the program from St. Kitts that you would have mentioned. And I like the idea.
I think the lead brother, the young one, should be here. There was an invitation for him to join us in that best of the best, and there are a couple other players like Penny
Sorry,
Feather
repeat that
and
for
so
me, please,
forth.
Sam. I missed
All of
it.
it here.
Repeat what you just said, Sam. I missed that.
The Louis brother, the younger brother, is supposed to be here also, and we also have Penny Feather and a few more. I think from St. Kitts there are about 6 or so players that are supposed to be here. I think they aren't all here as yet. Also from Nevis, there are quite a few from Anguilla and so forth. They form the core of the team. I think I'm like 6 or 7 Antiguans that are included. But in terms of St. Kitts Nevis, I think it should be a total of approximately 12 players also that should be here. This afternoon, when I checked at the hotel, I know we had a total of 15 players there so far. So I do expect by tomorrow, all the players will be in. I'm due to have a meeting with the players to discuss the tournament, what the selectors are looking for, and so forth. And we have managers and coaches and so forth in place. We will be playing at the coolest cricket grounds. Quite a nice setting there. And I do wish all the players in this tournament all the best. Go out there, give up your best, enhance your chances of playing for the Leewards. Cricket is now a business. It is not only just a game, and you can make a career out of it. And for sure, we will endeavor to uplift cricket in Leewards. We are on our way to ensuring that, as I mandated, that we must get at least 6 players in the West Indies team by next year.
This sounds exciting, and I really like the fact that cricket is being played, and the preparation has already started for the Leeward Islands team. And at this stage, I must say congratulations to Mr. Enoch Lewis, who has been elected for another term as president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. Mr. Carlisle Powell came up against him in the elections at the AGM on Saturday last, and Carlisle was not successful. Enoch was able to retain his presidency by a vote of 6 votes to 2. So we say congratulations to him. And I know he's traveling, so we are going to be having him on the program sometime in the very near future. So it all goes well for cricket and the cricketers. And you did mention Joel Andrews. You're expecting to see him in West Indies colors. And we had a ceremony on Friday last where a group of Sandy Pointers, Sandy Point Benevolent Society, they provided a full kit of cricket gear to Lashawn Bergen. And I happen to be part of it. I did say now that Kyle has made the West Indies team, the floodgates are opened. I did say will be open. Really, I didn't expect this so soon, but I expect Sean will be going through those floodgates from a St. Kitts point of view. So I, along with Joel, expect them in West Indies colour shortly.
Most certainly, sir. This is what we want to see. As I've said, when I spoke with your Minister of Sports in that, nice meeting that we had, and also your Director of Sports, those were the things that we discussed. And the things that I told them is that I just want to see cricket in the leagues move forward. And I have a very, serious passion in terms of cricket in St. Kitts because I know that there are talent there. We just have to harness those talents. And Bergen is one of those young players that can move forward in West Indies cricket. It's just that in St. Kitts, we really need to ensure that they get their acts together and move forward in playing a lot of cricket from school level to village level, parish level, and ensure that we have a strong cricket team in St. Kitts. I am supposed to do a symposium sometime very soon there. And, at that symposium, I really want to outline, the kind of things that can happen with cricket in terms of an economy, in terms of the development of the people, in terms of ensuring that we utilize our young women and the young men in a way that will allow for the development of the country and the enhancement of their personal lives.
It's sounding very, very interesting, Sam, and I'm expecting a lot of, especially cricket here in St. Kitts, with the Tului brothers making the West Indies team, which of course is step one or phase one. The other phase is actually having them play, especially in that first test that will be happening in a few weeks.
I can almost guarantee that Kyle should play in that test. As for Jerry, it's a possibility or probability that he would play, but what it's like with West Indies cricket at times and how hard Leeward Islanders or small islanders have to fight at times to get into the West Indies team. There's still some semblance of insularity, but I'm sure that is now worked on, and we will get that through the door. Not the window, but through the door. Quite quickly, we kick that through the door and ensure that justice is done as far as selection is concerned, as it relates to West Indies cricket. I may like to add before I go, because I know you've got other folks who may want to come on, but I'd like to add before I go, I was very disappointed, just like others, in terms of the way the West Indies went out of the tournament that was played here in Antigua, the World Cup match that was played here against South Africa. I think we acted very poorly in terms of the final selection. We didn't read the situation well enough. I think also added to that, I would question some of the decisions made on the field of play that caused our demise. 135 wasn't anything near a winning score. However, there were periods in the game that I thought that we had a chance, but it was just a case of we were not prudent. We did not understand what we ought to do at certain given time, and it cost us the game. I am very saddened by that because I don't want to watch the finals where the West Indies is not involved. Yes, but then the fact is, it would have been more pleasing to the people in the Caribbean, and then we would have set a record to be the first host country to win the T20 World Cup.
Yes, we indeed lost it. So that glass ceiling has yet to be broken once more. No home country has ever won the World Cup. So that lives on yet a longer time. And it is indeed heartbreaking. And I suspect a lot of changes will be made going forward, redevelopment and things like that. A long, hard look at our current stock and who we need to develop in. But Sam, it has been a tremendous pleasure indeed having you on the program. I know you indicated you were extremely busy, and I'm extremely grateful that you were able to squeeze in a few minutes with us. And thank you very much for that.
I'd like to close by saying Lewis cricket is for us, irrespective of who is the president, the vice president, the board, directors, we all have to operate in unison. We have to ensure that whoever in position have the interest of Lewis cricket at heart. Divisiveness cannot allow for the development of any nation or any sports. And that is why when I came to St. Kitts, you notice I had the passion to ensure that we develop cricket in St. Kitts. And when I reached out to the minister there, in our discussion, it is obvious, that I will, be playing a part in the development of cricket there for sure. So the next time I'm there, obviously we will continue the discussion and allow for things to bear fruit. So thank you very much for being on the program tonight. I've got a whole host of things that I have to take care of at the moment. So, I'd like to say congratulations again to the people of St. Kitts Nevis, and thank you for allowing me to be on your program tonight.
It is indeed a pleasure, as usual, Sam, and I know we will be speaking in the next few weeks because of the West Indies tournaments that will be happening. I suspect you will be there. You'll want to give an opinion. And I've told you personally, I've said it on air before, I expect in the very near future, I will be addressing you in a different capacity because I really expect that you will be elevated to be a selector, a West Indies selector, Sam, because of the tremendous job you're doing at the Leeward Islands level.
I thank you for your confidence in me. It is bantered about by many people. I never expected that, I would be appreciated that much. And, the knowledge that I have of the game would be accepted by so many people. And that is why I want to serve and serve not only Antigua Barbuda, but the entire Leeward Islands. And as many feel that I do have the capacity to serve the West Indies, and I will be so happy to do so. To move from a selector scout to a full selector for the West Indies, would be really a pleasure for me.
Thanks a lot again, Sam, and have a good evening and stay safe. You're listening to On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.
Continue the good work. Continue your good work. They say the reward for good work is more work, so just continue to work.
Thank you very much, sir. And you're listening to On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. We just had live with us Mr. Samuel Spencer, chairman of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board Selection Committee. And I am really sincere. I think he will be elevated. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he reasons. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he operates with the players and his personality.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Hello, caller. Caller.
Yeah, good evening, Biff. Good evening. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hello, good evening. You can hear me?
Yes, caller. Go ahead.
Okay, we have Hugo on the radio.
Yes, he is with us, and yes, he's with us
Well, I
live.
want to say a special good night to Mr. Hugo. Mr. Go, this is your good buddy Curtis from Think It. And
Hold a sec, Curtis. Let me make sure you're hearing. Hugh is hearing you. You're hearing the caller, Hugh?
No, I'm not hearing him at all.
Yeah, good evening again. Yeah, good evening again.
Are you hearing him now, Hugh?
Not clearly, not clearly.
Good evening, Mr. Go.
Good evening. I can hear him now.
Okay, how are you doing? This is your good friend Curtis from Think It. How are you?
Can't
I
hear
want
him
to say
properly.
a special
I heard
thanks
that
to you
part. I'm not
because-
too bad, thank you.
Yeah, man, you know, me good old friend from a long time, you know, we go way back with the cricket, and I know you're very happy for Jerry, because you one believe that he definitely should be in the team from the beginning. But God is in control and God is good. You know, and I'm very happy to see, I live to see, that we got one but two competition players. I mean, this is so wonderful. This is God is moving the serious ways, and I want to congratulate the boys. I could tell you the whole story about these two boys. Because the cricket started at the Basque High School. That's where the cricket started. But that, you know, we will move on to that. I just want to say also to Biff, congratulations to Cordell Cook for making the Leeward Island on the 19 team. This youngster been trying, just like the two Jerry boys. You know him, Biff, you've been seeing him for years around. And I want to say big congratulations to him and the Leeward Island team on the 19 team. I wish them all the best going forward. The only problem that I have, Biff, you can hear me? Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. You're hearing him, Hugh?
Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm not hearing him. I'm hearing him off and on.
Okay. Well, no problem. I'll make the presentation. So what I want to say to Biff,
Yes, sir.
in St. Kitts, and some people are going to get offended, we need to take our young cricketers seriously. You had two youngsters who left the federation last Wednesday, Cordell Cook and Xavier Henry from St. Paul. Biff, not a soul, except for that to call the president. Not a soul from the sport department, the minister, nobody come to the airport to see these youngsters off. And nobody tell me they ain't no. Because this news, these two guys is all over Facebook. If we need to stop it. We need to put an end to the way we treat our youngsters. If it's good to see that you in Sandy Point give the youngster some cricket games. It's poor people children. Look at Topsy. Poor people, him on the poor. Look at Cordell. Nobody even call him a sock, a shoes, nothing at all. And when the man is going away, nobody come to the airport. If I was at the airport, when they get to the airport, only one bag pay for and they got two bags. They have to be making calls and making calls there. You can't cheat in the news like this. When I get to the airport, the man them got two bags. But only one bag to pay for. I had to call John, call Paul, call here, call this. Just before the flight closed, the man them get us. I had to call Dennis had to come. Where's the people from the sport department? Where's the PS? Where's the minister? Nobody put the things in place? Kasim has said, how we done documenting in this country? Only when the man reached to the top, we wasn't from with the camera.
Bozo.
Because We got to stop this Biff. Treat people better. Look
Okay,
at
I'm gonna call you back.
Look at Maya today.
I wanna call you.
Look at where they're at. So only now they reach to the top. They must go over the house. Only now they reach to the top. Cameraman wants to come. Where's the history before they get there? My brother, we need to change our style. You can't talk some more, but continue the program. And good night to Mr. Gore. I respect you, my brother. Have a good night, Biff.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Cook, for calling in, and I share your passion. And congratulations again on your son making the West Indies, the Leeward Islands on the 19 team to compete in the West Indies on the 19 tournament that's happening in St. Vincent in the next, well, just now. And yes, Mr. Gore, you're with us? You're hearing us loud and clear? You?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you all.
Okay, yes, we do have Mr. Eustace Maynard in studio with us. And having had the two brothers make the West Indies team, what do you think is the likelihood of both of them playing in that first test?
Well, I guess that's left up to the selectors. First things first. Heartiest congratulations to Jerry on making the team. I said it to Michael, both of them are making the West Indies team. And I can't leave out their parents, because their dad and mom are disciplinarians. I know how hard they've worked to have got them to this position. They have a right to be very proud. And as I've said, nothing happens before it's time. And they're all the same. It should be very happy, because this is a first. The first time a player from St. Kitts is making the West Indies team, and then within 3 weeks, another one, and both of them from the same family. I know there's a third one that plays cricket too, a lot of ability. So greatest kudos to Louis and Mrs. Louis, the family, for what they've done. But as you say, I can't say what will happen. The first thing is they've made the team is to go up there and do the best, whether they play the first test or don't play the first test. They just have to remain focused. And when the bell rings, to be ready to go there and do battle. I happened to hear when I was listening, I think somebody called in and said about Mikael plays the test match, he should face the first ball. I totally disagree with that. But it is a much more experienced player, and he's the most experienced test player in the team, and I didn't agree with that. It would be good if Mikael can just stay and watch even the first few balls being bowled. But he's a guy with a big heart, both of them. But he to play in the first test, I think Baptist should face the first ball. He's the most experienced, he's a captain, he's played over 50 test matches, whatever, and this is a guy in his first test match if he got to play. So I think Baptist, I happened to overhear in the background. I didn't agree with him with that.
Well, actually, that comment was made by my colleague here in the studio, Eustace. I had a different view as well. I really support the view that you're pushing. Yes, he might put up his hand, Mikael, and say, hey, I want to face the first ball. I want to face the first ball. That's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, but the point is, I agree with you that put up his hand. The captain shouldn't even allow him to put up his hand. He should face the first ball. Shouldn't even allow him to put up his hand. He must face, but the thing about it is, if he were to, he's got a big heart. He's got good technique. As I say, he's a very determined cricketer. I can't say that for some of them that I saw on the TV the other night, but as I say, I'm overjoyed. Because as I spoke on your program earlier in the year, before the first cast season was finished, I said Mikael has obviously, this is before the season was finished, he's obviously putting his hat in the ring because he's been making runs, and I think Jerry deserved a chance. He wasn't in the original team, but what's his name is out now, so Jerry got in, and I'm very pleased. I know they both do St. Kitts proud and do the Leewards, do their family, they'll do everybody proud. Very disciplined young men there, and I'm very, very pleased about that.
I am thinking Jerry is a direct replacement for Kemar Roach, who was injured. Kemar Roach would have played the last series in Australia, and he would have bowled in both matches. I am therefore thinking that if he's a direct replacement, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the selectors for these games, that may have been their thinking, because I know there are horses for courses. You select your team based on a number of factors. But if it is a case that the selectors were thinking that Kemar Roach would have been in the first 11 and Jerry is his replacement, I am thinking that he will be. What are your thoughts, Eustace?
Well,
I can tell you, Choi, that I expect Jeremiah to play in the first test match. He has owned himself in the West Indies team, the West Indies squad. He has been the best bowler in the West Indies for the tournament. The type of bowler that he is suited for the English condition. And I expect him, because of his excellent performance and success in the West Indies for the tournament, he rocked most probably one game which he was not feeling well, which was the Barbados game, which we lost that game. All of the other games, Jerry took care of the top order, all of the opening batsmen. He was the man who rocked the batting lineup. And I expect him to continue that tremendous form in England, where he suited. Nobody in the West Indies swing the ball like Jerry. And I expect him to not only play in the test match, but I expect him to open the bowling. And I still stand by my point. Yes, the captain is the most experienced. Yes, has played many test matches, double 100, very experienced. But I am saying that if Mikel wants to face first ball, I still don't see anything, because he has the capability, the capacity, and the quality to do the job and put that ball in the boundary to take care of Woods and the other England fast bowler. And also, let me make it absolutely and abundantly clear that I expect Michael Louis to open the batting, not only in the West Indies test team, but in the West Indies one-day team, in the West Indies 2020 team, and shortly, in a matter of less than perhaps about 2 years, I expect him to be the West Indies captain. Mark my word.
Thanks a lot. You were about to say something, Hugh, before Eustace came in?
Yeah, well, you see, your panelists just keep saying that if Mikel wants to face the first ball, it's not Mikel. That's the captain and the coach will decide that. You got to realize this is not about Mikel facing any first ball. It's who they would find. And as I've said, Battle is open for years now. Okay? And it would make it easier on Mikel. As I say, he has a big hand to be down at the other end. I wouldn't expect the captain with all the experience and the coach, whoever the coach is, to go there. Not if Mikel or what he wants to do puts up his hand, they will put it down. As the captain is in charge, you have to respect that. He's the senior opening batsman. You have to realize that. It's not to say Mikel has played 10 tests and going to play his 11. This is his first match. And the captain, I would find it strange that Bradford wouldn't want to face the first ball. And if I'm right, I would have think when Chandra Paul played and came in the side, I don't think he faced the first ball. I think it was the captain who did, but he's entitled to his opinion. But as I say, I'm just overjoyed to see here that both of them in the side. I know they both do well. I personally would play Jerry in the first test. Luckily, fortunately, Jerry has been up there playing cricket. And as I said, they're two players with big hearts, big hearts. That comes from, the way Dad and Mom have brought them up. That has played a big part, and there's no getting away from it. You can't forget that. We talk about the players, but must remember the parents, what they've done. And I'm not a drinker, but I took a little shot today. So, but I can tell you I'm as sober as ever. So I'm not talking overhead. But I'm very pleased, very, very pleased. And I know people in St. Kitts will be overjoyed. As I said, here it is. You hadn't had a test, a play on the West Indies team, but now you have two. Then I must also, I don't know who is yes, sir, I was speaking to somebody who made the under 19 team too. I believe the Islands on the 19 team. I don't know. Is that the same young man who came up here and played in the under 17 or the under 15? Is that the same person?
Yes, he's now in the Leeward Islands on the 17, LaShawn Burgon. He was up there for the under 15 tournament.
See, I told you, I spoke about him the last time I was on the radio. Told you all I saw a young man who played very well here. And he has a great future ahead of him. If that's the guy, well, heartiest congratulations to him. Very good player, good technique, good head. Good head on his shoulders. That's a big plus these days. Actually, I'm not going to like this comment, but I'm opening a school for Dutch cricketers, and you won't believe it's already filled up.
Okay, Huey.
But
it was indeed a tremendous pleasure having you on the program with us this evening. I know you're always a phone call away, and thank you very much for making your time available to me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I mean, good night to all my friends in St. Kitts and Nevis, Victor Eddie, Dwyer, Astafan, Charles Wilkin, so many friends, Auntie Lane Stevens, that's like my second mother, son Desmond, Ollie Manchester. I have so many good friends in Nevis, so sometimes when you all hear me talking, I know what's going on, and maybe in Antigua, but lots of friends in St. Kitts. And I want to say this, I hope they find time to utilize Victor Eddie here. Victor Eddie has a lot of knowledge. A lot of knowledge when it comes to the game. It's about time to find time some way to utilize him, especially when it comes to batting. But as I say, thank you all for having me. I'm overjoyed, as the whole of St. Kitts must be. And God bless you all. Let us hope. I know they will not let us down. They will do well. Right? They will do well. Just wait and see. They're on the team, and I would have them in the first test, but as I say, I am not a selector, but we just have to think because I have 3 tests up there. So I expect them to start. If they don't, I expect them to play sometime during the series. But just congratulations to you all. Thank you again, and God bless you all. God bless. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Hugh. We really appreciate that. Eustace, we are over time. You have 15 seconds to wrap up your final comments.
Well, I can tell you. 15 seconds.
That's all we have, sir.
It's just so sorry that the time has really gone past us.
We still have. That's 10 seconds now, sir.
Yeah, we had an excellent program, and it's so sorry that when you have fun that you have to run. But also, if we don't leave, we won't be able to come back. But I want to say congratulations to Jeremiah, who joined his brother who left the island on Saturday. And we expect great things from these two excellent and outstanding players who would have done their country and the Caribbean proud. The best batsman in the whole tournament, the best bowler in the whole West Indies. And I am looking forward for great things, tremendous commendation for them. And thank you again for inviting me and for giving me the opportunity to share, and look forward for another opportunity where we can discuss and continue the discussion. But we wish our great guys the very best in England, and we hope that they will come back to play, to continue the good works and to represent the West Indies and the Caribbean and their federation.
Thank you very much,
Thank
you very much, Eustace. We appreciate it. And before I slip away, I must say condolences to the family of the late Mr. Vincent Williams. He was a stalwart at Gibraltar when it comes to sport in the Virchilds region, the Old Road Virchilds region, and the playing field is named partly after him, the Samuel Williams playing field in Vorchilds. He would have passed away. He was a radiologist at the JNF for decades, for forever. And he has passed. Tremendous contribution, football and cricket. And we say condolences to his family. Cricket World Cup semi-finals tomorrow. South Africa playing against Afghanistan. Australia gone home. India against England. It won't surprise me if Afghanistan beat South Africa and be into the finals. It really wouldn't. I believe South Africa, they are the favorites. And I think perhaps the defending champions, are they the favorites against India? I'm not certain. We'll have to wait and see. But ladies and gentlemen, it was my pleasure. And I do apologize to my producer for going a little overboard. And I thank Mr. Hugo. I thank Mr. Samuel Spencer. I thank Mr. Junior Mitchell in studio with us. It was indeed our pleasure. It's gnashing on the way. You're going to be wailing and gnashing of the teeth in the football for the Premier Division. Congratulations to Security Forces and Jones Group Sandy Point. Both of them have been promoted to the Premier Division for next year, and they still have 2 remaining games. So it shows the quality of the games they would have played. So thanks a lot. Join us again next week, Tuesday 7 to 9. I'm Troy Biff Mills. It was our pleasure. And it's going to be an interesting month. Well, we have a lot of sports happening into June, Wimbledon coming up. And as I slip away, I encourage you to always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Have a pleasant night and indeed be safe. And again, stay healthy.